Hello and welcome to today's story. Grab a comfy spot, because today we're talking about a boy named Mikey, who had a bit of trouble understanding things. You see, Mikey misunderstood everything, and because of that, he got really sensitive and upset. Let me tell you how it all began. Mikey was an ordinary 11-year-old boy who lived in a small town in England with his parents and his younger sister Emma. Mikey loved riding his bike, playing football, and watching cartoons. He was a kind-hearted boy and liked to help people. But there was one thing about Mikey that always seemed to get him in trouble. He didn't always understand what people meant, and when he misunderstood things, he'd feel really embarrassed, angry, or even sad. One Monday morning, Michael was sitting at the breakfast table, munching on his cereal, when his mum said, "Mikey, it's going to be a long day today." Now, what she really meant was that they had a lot of errands to run, and she knew it would be a busy day. But for some reason, Mikey thought she meant something else. He frowned and felt his heart sink. "Why does Mum think today's going to be bad?" he wondered. "Maybe she doesn't think I'll do well today. Maybe I'll mess something up." From that moment, Mikey started to feel on edge. His day hadn't even begun, but he already felt nervous. He didn't say anything, but inside he was so upset. Every little thing that happened after that felt worse than it really was. First, when Mikey was getting ready for school, he couldn't find his school shoes. His dad said, "Mikey, you need to be more organized." Now, what his dad meant was that Mikey sometimes misplaced his things, and he needed to be more careful. But Mikey misunderstood again. He thought his dad was saying he wasn't responsible and that he always messed things up. Mikey's face turned red and he snapped back. "I don't always lose things." He felt hurt and a little embarrassed, and even though his dad was just trying to help him. At school, things didn't get much better. During the maths class, Mikey's teacher, Mr. Brown, asked him to solve a problem on the board. Mikey loved maths, but today his mind was all tangled up with the things his mum and dad had said. He walked up to the board and started solving the problem, but halfway through he made a mistake. Mr. Brown said kindly, "Mikey, let's try that again." What he meant was that everyone makes mistakes sometimes, and it was no big deal. But Mikey? He took it the wrong way again. He thought he was saying he wasn't smart enough. His cheeks burned, and he quickly wiped the numbers off the board. Mikey felt like everyone in the room was staring at him, laughing inside. In reality, no one was. But Mikey's heart was pounding, and he stormed back to his seat, crossing his arms tightly. Throughout the day, these little misunderstandings kept piling up. At lunch, Mikey overheard two kids laughing at a joke. But Mikey, feeling really sensitive, thought they were laughing at him. He clenched his fists and felt a lump in his throat. When his friend Ryan tried to talk to him, Mikey brushed him off, thinking he was probably making fun of him too. By the time Mikey got home, he was so tired, not from running around or doing homework, but from all the worrying in his mind. He sat on the couch, sulking. When his little sister Emma came over to show him her drawing. "Look, Mikey, I drew a picture of you," Emma said excitedly, holding up her paper. Well, it was a simple drawing, a stick figure with a big smile, wearing a red shirt, just like Mikey's favorite one. But Mikey, still feeling sensitive, saw the drawing and misunderstood once again. He thought his little sister Emma was making fun of how he looked. Mikey's face turned red with frustration. "Why do you always have to make fun of me?" he shouted, his voice cracking a little. Emma looked really confused. She didn't understand why Mikey was so mad. Her eyes started to water, and she ran to her room. Mikey's mum, who had been watching from the kitchen, came over and sat next to him. She didn't look angry. Instead, she looked a bit worried. "Mikey, what's going on?" she asked softly. "You've been upset all day long." Mikey crossed his arms and stared at the floor. "Everyone keeps picking on me. You, Dad, my teacher, the kids at school, even Emma." His mum frowned and thought for a moment. "Mikey, no one's trying to pick on you. I think there's been a misunderstanding." Mikey looked up. "But this morning, you said it was going to be a long day. I thought you meant it was going to be a bad day." His mum smiled gently. "Oh, Mikey, when I said it was going to be a long day, I just meant we had a lot to do. It wasn't anything bad. And when Dad said you lose things, he didn't mean you're careless. We just want you to help you find your shoes. Sometimes people say things and they don't always mean what you think. It's okay to ask if you're not sure." Mikey thought about that for a while. His mum was right. He had misunderstood, and it had made his whole day feel worse than it really was. His mum continued. "It's easy to feel upset when you think people are being mean, but sometimes they're not trying to hurt you. Maybe they're just trying to help, or they don't realize how their word sounds. And if you ever feel unsure, you can always talk about it and ask." Mikey nodded slowly. He hadn't thought of it that way before. He had been so sure that everyone was against him. But maybe he just needed to understand things better. Later that evening, Mikey knocked on Emma's door. She was sitting on her bed, holding her toy bunny. "Hey, Emma," Mikey said, feeling a little nervous. I'm sorry for yelling at you earlier. I thought you were making fun of me, but your drawing was really cool." Emma's face lit up. "Oh, you like it? I made it because you're my big brother, and I wanted to draw something special." Mikey smiled for the first time that day. "Oh, thanks, Emma. I really like it." That night, as Mikey got ready for bed, he felt much lighter. He realized that misunderstandings happen, and it was okay to ask for help when things didn't seem clear. From then on, whenever Mikey felt unsure or upset, he tried to take a deep breath and think before reacting. And you know what? It made his days a lot easier. So, that's the story of Mikey and the big misunderstanding. Sometimes we all get confused about what people mean, and it can make us feel really upset or frustrated. But remember, it's always okay to ask questions or talk about your feelings. You might find out that things aren't as bad as they seem. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep smiling, keep asking questions, and keep understanding the world a little bit every day. Goodbye for now.